Sorry about that. Had to tweet I was live. For once, I actually remembered. I remembered without going, God, I forgot. But yeah, today, well, more like night for me. Tonight, we are playing the In-Between. I will say I don't remember where the original demo ended off at, but for a good portion of it, I'll probably sit there and be like, oh yeah, I remember this. Because, again, I did play it some time ago. And just to give a little bit about it, well, I could just go to the itch page. I could do that. It'll give a whole lot more info than I could. But it is basically a supernatural kind of thing. Let's see, the In-Between, there we go. So let me just pull it up real quick. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, it's the In-Between. It is developed by Cats on a Lily Pad, but the publisher is 2.5 Studios. The people who made A Date with Death, The Divine Speaker, The Divine Speaker Sun and Moon, Start Again, and Amelie? I'm still not sure how to pronounce it. Is there one more? Oh yes, and Dreambound. The one that still eats me up inside. So, yeah, pretty much, got monsters and stuff added in. And, yeah. I will let you guys read this all on your own. But yeah, so you just go to itch.io, type in the In-Between, and you can look at everything yourself. I still don't remember who I was going for. I think maybe I wanted to be different and go after, like, the white-haired guy. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to get my dinner. Okay, see what happened was I didn't know if anybody cooked tonight, so I got some food just in case. But yeah, somebody cooked tonight, so I guess my dinner will be tomorrow's lunch. So yeah, I just had to get it and pack it away. So basically, like I said, if you guys want to read all of it in full, you can just go to itch.io, type in between, and yeah, you can give it a look. And as you can see here, they plan to have a lot of characters. Probably will be more of the full game. And if any of the love interests interest you, do give it a try. But if you are a fan of, well, technically it's not 2.5 Studios work, but I don't think they take on like anything they deem like not great, I guess. So yeah, definitely give this a try. I'm still very much looking forward to it being fully released. Will I have the money for it then? Who knows? But man, I really hope I at least get a chance to play it at some point. Oh, right, let's see. I already did the settings, right? And I yapped about it. Oh wait, no. I do like it when they like give you the option to like do rollback. It's like sometimes you make a choice, right? And then you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I want to do a different one. Like you're between two choices, and then you make one. Then you're like, you know what? I want to go with the other choice. So I do like that they give you the option to roll back. But some don't do that. And like, granted, I understand, especially like depending on like.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Oops.
In spirits?
I'll shut up now.
In demons? I do. There's a world right on the edge of your consciousness. But not everyone can see it. Those of us with the sight have a duty to protect, to maintain. I deeply apologize for what I must do, my son. I love you.
I love you too, Dad.
Riley.
Sorry.
P.S. Happy birthday, Micah. How I wish I could be spending it with you.
I don't think they had this in the beginning before. Because I definitely don't remember it. Yeah, I don't remember that beginning. Like they might have had like something else. Interesting. I think they might have also updated the what is this? The text box. Because I don't quite remember this either. So yeah, they definitely changed up some stuff. Oh right, I'm supposed to like read. A world away from ghosts, from demons, and spirits was a young man named Micah Riley. It was pronounced Micah, right? At 24 years old, he just recently graduated from the Dynasty Institute, a highly competitive and prestigious university with a diploma in business. It wasn't his first choice, possibly not even his second, but his uncle was the dean of the business school, and his aunt was one of the lecturers, so it's what was expected of him. However, he was able to take some summer classes in art, on the condition that he could also hold down a part-time job. He chose a local cafe, cozy but chic. He instantly fell in love with the place. He used to visit this place almost every day when he started university. The atmosphere helped him think. Mary ran the business side of things, but was also a skilled barista, teaching him how to do latte art, which he got pretty damn good at, thank you very much. Chef Thomas taught him how to cook and prepare menu items. He was also the one who encouraged him to... they forgot to enroll. To enroll in the art course, both he and Mary enthusiastically offering to hire him. A husband and wife duo, and incredible people. Today, though, he had been given the day off, a rare occurrence for the ever-conscious Micah. Conscientious. University was finally done. His roommate, Leonardo Addy, was moving out of the apartment they rented together. The building was nothing special, just a regular apartment you can find anywhere. What made it so appealing was the rent discount that a student could get on the place thanks to the university. Otherwise, Micah was sure they would have ended up in a shoebox of an apartment. Leon, as Micah called him, was moving to work with his father across town. It wasn't far from the apartment by any means. This building didn't have parking, and as he was starting a new venture in real estate, he needed somewhere he could keep a car. So, he was reluctantly moving. Still, he threatened time and time again that he would visit as much as humanly possible. Micah and Leon had known each other since they were kids in kindergarten, but it wasn't until they coincidentally ended up living together that they actually became friends. They attended the same school throughout the years, but were in different classes. They knew each other's faces, but not really who they were. You know how it goes. Somehow, it was already moving day for Leon. The lounge room was slowly filling up with his boxes. Micah was still shocked by how much stuff one guy could cure in 4 years. Serious shopping addiction. Leon, you ready yet? It'll be dark by the time you manage to tape these up. He was seriously procrastinating, as per usual. I don't even know how you're supposed to do that. Moving on your best friend's birthday and taking your sweet time doing it? Typical. Today was November 15th, which just so happened to be Micah's 24th birthday. He wasn't actually upset about Leon moving today of all days. Not really. It wasn't something he'd ever particularly celebrated, after all. He did, however, really enjoy tormenting Leon about it, who was, as it turns out, quite upset about the date. Micah tousled Leon's hair as he walked out with the final box. Surprisingly, he was going straight to work once the movers took all the boxes, but he was already dressed in his new suit. It was quite a sight. A young, suited man carrying out boxes that were definitely too heavy for him, while trying to pretend he wasn't on the verge of crying about the whole situation. The redhead watched his friend with interest. He'd never seen Leon so dressed up. His usual style was far more casual. Oversized jumpers and comfortable pants. That suit really didn't suit him. Micah smiled to himself. He had to admit, it did look good on him, despite it not being his usual style. He could just imagine the little old ladies pinching his cheeks as he gave them tours of their retirement homes. Oh god. Oh my god. He does look adorable though. I mean, you know what they say about men in suits. They look really good in them. Might be big. I guess I'm fine. He looked so sad that Micah actually felt a little bit bad for him. He didn't want him to go either, of course. They had fun living together, but it wasn't like they would stop being friends just because they didn't anymore. Alright, no need to cry. Seriously, you'll make me cry too. He totally, undoubtedly was. They spent the rest of the morning sealing boxes and stacking them by the front door, ready for the movers. It was hard work, considering how many boxes he'd managed to fill. the fact that they the fact that they have a background variation just for closing the boxes. Wow, that is very detailed. Oh man, that's really nice. So devoted to immersing you that they're willing to even make a background with the boxes sealed. Sorry, I'm just getting like my food so I can eat. Okay, got it all. Catch you later, man. Come by the cafe when you're free next. Wow, book solid for a month. Goddamn. Don't worry, there's no rush. Anyway, that sounds pretty rough. Good luck. The redhead sighed as the sulky brunette finally exited the building, no longer about to delay the inevitable. He hoped Leon would be okay. As strange as it was going to be alone in the apartment, the silver lining was getting out of celebrating his birthday that year, an occasion he was less than fond of. Disturbing his tired thoughts, a vibrating tone sounded from his pocket. He didn't even need to check who it was. Oh! This is new. This is very new. Oh, thank you for the lurk stitch. Oh, I forgot to put that back. Thank you for the lurk stitch. Thank you. Oh yeah, this is definitely different. I clearly don't remember this. Aww. True. Such an idiot. Leon was only slightly younger, but sometimes he acted like a lost kid. Any excuse to text or call, and he'd take it. It was endearing, if not a little tiresome on occasion. Still, it made Micah smile as he locked his phone once more, slumping down on the couch. Moving was seriously exhausting, and it wasn't even him who moved. Maybe he'd take a nap. Maybe he would just close his eyes for a few minutes. It didn't matter now how much sleep he got lately. Wait. Oh. I was like, wait. Something about this that I read made no sense. It didn't matter how much sleep he got lately. It never seemed to be enough. A sudden roar of thunder and a flash through the sky woke Micah with a start. It was dark. The room was nearly pitch black. From the storm? Or had he slept all day? He rubbed his head. He'd been getting some killer headaches lately, and his sleeping pattern was all over the place. With a yawn, he lifted his phone to check the time as he reached over to turn on the lamp beside him, squinting as the sudden brightness hit his tired eyes. Oh man. He sighed. Slept the whole day. He'd catch up on the messages later, he decided. Wow. His phone is new though. It's a shame I can't use it whenever I feel like it. You guys can't see it, but like the phone option is like behind me. It's like right above the settings, the gear. Micah rubbed his forehead again, trying to calm the headache. He had been having a dream. It seemed so real, but now he couldn't even remember what it was. It was right on the cusp of his mind, but out of reach. His fuzzy mind tried to recall how he ended up asleep on the couch, all while his phone continued to blip with notifications. Birthday wishes, reminders, emails, Leon updating on his new apartment. The casual swipe, he erased the building alerts on his home screen. He'd catch up on those messages later, he decided. His eyes shifted over the date in the corner of the screen. Happy birthday to me, I guess. His family didn't really celebrate birthdays, but he did have one tradition. Every birthday it would rain, without fail. He would sit by a window, listening to his favorite music and sketch. He loved the rain. It was melancholic. One of his earliest memories was playing in the rain with someone? Who was that again? He frowned. He couldn't remember his face. He knew it was a young man playing with him. He couldn't remember who he was. He held on to his head tighter now, feeling his headache getting worse. It always got worse when he tried to remember his childhood. All he could remember was that smiling face through a deep haze. Sometimes it seemed so clear, he could almost make out his features. Other times, nothing. Micah got off the couch with an effort, unbecoming of one in his early 20s, and wandered towards the balcony doors. Watching the rain outside made him feel calmer. He breathed out on the glass of the doors. He wrote a single word in the fog. A name. It'd been followed by another. Really. His name. He was sure it belonged to his father. He was sure that's whose face he saw when he remembered playing in the rain. The name on the letter he kept hidden from his Aunt Caroline. She didn't like any mention of Micah's parents. It seemed like she wasn't very fond of them. Raised by his aunt and uncle, they were the only family he ever knew. They weren't bad people at all, but he never felt like they actually wanted him around. He did what he was told, studied what they wanted him to. He learned to never ever ask about his family. He knew only that his father was his aunt's brother. The subject was banned early on when he came to live with them, for some unknown reason. He couldn't remember much before then, just that when he awoke in the hospital, his Aunt Caroline told him he would be living with her. Now. He would never see the wretched old man again. She wouldn't tell him who this wretched old man was, though, but somehow the thought of not seeing him made him sad, even if he didn't know why. I suppose I should get back to Leon before he starts to freak out. Take too long to respond and he'll convince himself something horrible happened. So little faith. The redhead smiled to himself. Sometimes Leon was so awkward and dorky, and other times he was like a mother hen, worried over his injury-prone little chick. Not that he'd call himself injury-prone. He did find himself crippled with migraines a lot, though, so maybe he was in a way. He worries too much, honestly. Still, it's nice that he cares so much. The rest of the night was spent chatting to Leon, before he finally dragged himself to his bedroom to sleep once again. A groggy and sleep-deprived young man clung to his pillow as he begrudgingly, awoke from his restless slumber. Groaning in protest, he negotiated with himself to remain beneath his warm sheets. He had another night where he felt as if he barely slept behind him. Sorry, I was just reading that sentence again. I was like, hold on. Let me make sure I understood it. His headaches and fatigue were getting worse. Right. Work. He was back at work today, and glad for the distraction. While he wasn't able to get that precious extra sleep, he wasn't too bothered. He wasn't much of a fan of having too much time to think, and if he stayed here, that's all he'd end up doing. Damn, wait, bro's got a setup. Hold on. Well, he doesn't have like a double monitor, but yo, he's got a setup. Does bro stream? Hey yo, Micah a streamer? Sooner or later, he'd have to face his aunt and the business career she wanted for him. He didn't know what he wanted to do, really. He was happy for now at the cafe. The cafe was locally famous for its delicious food and creative latte art. One thing he in particular was known for was drawing cartoon cats and rabbits on kids' meals and sauce. It was definitely popular with the children. It could be kind of fun to run his own kitchen one day, he thought to himself. Maybe some kind of mythology-themed cafe hybrid. Yeah, right. As he was thinking, he was dressing. He liked the uniform from Merriment Cafe too. Comfortable, but also pretty stylish. He glanced at the clock. Somehow, it was already time to get going. Shit. His stomach rumbled as he forlornly gave up the idea of eating breakfast. He could probably make something simple, but he didn't quite feel like reenacting an anime girl and her toast running out the door. He always lamented his lack of a motorized vehicle at times like this, but his trusty bike hadn't failed him yet. Quickly, he grabbed his uniform bag and headed for the door. It wasn't common among the Merriment staff to get changed there, but he'd much rather change once he got to work than risk getting his uniform dirty on the ride over. At least the ride would wake him up. Well, help him wake up. Same shit. Morning, boss. I don't remember if Mary always had a face. I don't remember. I'm gonna head out back and change. I'll be right back. Micah waved back at her in acknowledgement. The morning was busy as usual, regulars and new visitors alike. Micah was a popular surfer, and he had customers who came in just to see him. Damn, boy. To become a host. Mary found it amusing, to say the least. She would regularly call him their poster boy. He found it incredibly embarrassing. He didn't do anything special. He just liked making art on food and seeing people's faces when they saw it. With extra sprinkles? Leon. Thought you were slammed for a whole month. Yeah. I finish in a couple of minutes, actually. Yeah, right. Like, you didn't already know that. That'll be $3.95, sir. Sir. Earth to Leon, you gonna pay for your sugar attack or just stand there like a space cadet? Oh my god. I was about to say, beginnings and always reference. Because like, in like the beginning, like in the beginning of Our Life Beginnings and Always, you could literally sit there and say to Cove, hey there, space cadet. I don't know if that's like a reference or anything, but I just thought it was funny. A deep blush covered Leon's face. Grab a table and I'll bring it over to you when it's ready. He paid for his drink and sat down at a table, as directed. Looked so awkward waiting. Micah couldn't help but wonder what was up with him. Was work that rough yesterday? God. I'm like full of air. Okay, break time. You know what? You can question him. I'm a little curious. What's up with you? You okay? You sure? Nothing's up? Micah decided to switch gears. So, how'd the job go yesterday? He perked up as he found something he could talk about. The outskirts? Didn't know anything was out there. Haunted forest. What? No, I don't. He sneezed at the word cat and pulled a disapproving face. And that's what you get. So allergic to cats, even mentioning one makes him sneeze. What a sad existence. Imagine that. Imagine like being so allergic to something. Like a cat or a dog or something. That literally like just mentioning the name of the animal, you start sneezing. It's actually crazy. I wonder if that actually happens to anybody. That'd be really sad actually. What's that? Oppo thinks get sold all the time. Probably just thinks it's an easy sell for the newbie. They chatted some more until Micah's break is over. Words flow easily, just as they always had between them. As Leon stood to leave, he suddenly turned back to face Micah. And here I thought I escaped the celebrations. Alright. I'll text you. No need to make that face. Leon grinned in response and walked out of the cafe with a carefree wave. With yet another sigh, Micah shook his head and smiled to himself before getting back to work. The shift passed by quickly after that. A steady stream of customers kept Micah busy enough that time seemed to fly, just how he liked it. He glanced up at the clock. Knock-off time already. A moment later, he had changed back out of his uniform and prepared to leave. He dug his hand into his pocket, searching for his phone to text Leon, only to discover nothing there. With a frown, he checked his other pocket. Not there either. Shit. Great. This is just great. Where could it have gone? He rushed back into the staff room and scanned over the area. Nothing. It was nowhere in sight. And then, somewhere in the cafe, could it have fallen out of his pocket? 10 minutes of searching later, he rubbed at his temples. It wasn't anywhere. Did he even have it with him this morning? Maybe he left it behind. His mind raced with possibilities. He rushed out of the cafe doors, calling out with a hasty goodbye to Mary, and grabbed his bike to quickly get home. What if I have a feeling that we, met Thomas before? Or I guess now we don't. He pedaled hard, desperately hoping he simply left it behind and didn't lose it on the ride in. It would be such a huge pain to have lost it for real. Even disregarding the cost of a new phone, he would have lost everything he kept on it. The ride home was stressful. Everything that could get in his way did. How come only when he was in a rush did people feel like suddenly appearing in front of his body? Brother, I feel that. It's like literally. Always, whenever you're like in a rush to get somewhere, everything works against you. Why is that? A pervasive sense of doom and frustration built within the redhead as he raced up the stairs to his apartment. He didn't quite understand his own panic. It was just a phone after all. He didn't care about it beyond the inconvenience of its content. So why did he feel such a pressing desperation to have it back in his hands? Finally back to his apartment, the redhead threw open the front door, making a beeline to his best guess, his bedroom. A few upturned items later, and sure enough, sitting on the end of his bed under his nightshirt was the unassuming item of his search. There you are. Relief flooded his body, saved from replacing such an ingrained item. He should text Leon now that he had it back, but after the stress of getting home to find it, he was now too exhausted to want to do anything. A heavy tiredness washed over him. He had adrenaline leaving his body, turning the energy to pure exhaustion, his muscles burning after the ride of his life. He flopped down on his bed and absentmindedly scrolled through his notifications. Junk emails, social media nonsense, a million texts from Leon, and a missed call from an unknown number. Huh. Weird. Wonder who that was. Don't usually get many calls. Even more surprisingly, they left no message. He stared at the number for a moment before curiosity got the better of him, and he searched up the number. A lawyer? Bingus. Oh my god. Bingus search engine. Let's see. 555555555. Is it legal to own a panther? How is that related to looking up somebody's number? Of course it's hard to pass law school. Face it dirty like a legend. I love that. I love that actually. I'm actually kinda curious. What would Pace It Dirty be about? He screwed up his face, utterly confused. The feeling from earlier still nickled at his spine, the feeling of importance. Rubbing his eyes, he stared at the blurry little screen. He could see the name perfectly well. The rest of the search results had a strange glitch to them. The fuck? Annoying. Something wrong with the page. Wonder what that's about. He shook his head, deciding that whoever it actually was couldn't actually be that interesting. Maybe they got the wrong number. What would a lawyer want with me? He looked at the page for a while longer, trying to decide what to do. He knew logically, but his curiosity and intuition screamed at something else entirely. Should he call them back? They didn't leave a message though, so maybe it was a wrong number after all. He scrolled through the rest of his missed notifications, skimmed reading through all of Leon's messages. To make his 37-message stream of text short, it seemed as if he spent some more time dealing with that rural property since he left the cafe. His dad really wanted it, by the sound of it. Finally, he was all caught up. He felt bad. He'd promised Leon he would text him back as soon as his shift finished. That became a little difficult to do without his phone. Micah was still thinking about the missed call too, absent-mindedly scrolling through nothing as he stared aimlessly at his device. Oh, call that number. Do it, do it. You know we have to call the number. We have to. Micah stared at the missed call. Something about that number drew him in, captivated him. He knew that he had to speak to this person now. Why? He didn't know. He just had to. It was important. thought on that feeling for a moment, and in the end decided to trust that gut feeling. Just as Micah went to hit the call button, his phone started to buzz. He jumped up in surprise, nearly dropping his phone. Barely catching it, he caught sight of the caller ID. It was that same number. This time, he was available to answer it. He rushed to his desk, where he kept his notebook, just in case. God, I can hang up. Hello? Malcolm, right? Who the hell is Malcolm? Right? Malcolm? The right family name, but who is Malcolm? May I ask who's calling? Oh, whoops. I was supposed to read. Sorry. Gregory Riley. He had heard that name before. Where? Micah had yet to respond, but the man continued talking. Oh my god, I did not mean that. Oh, that's his daddy. You or your father. Those words pounded in his head like a drum. Who was this person? He said Edwin. Edwin Riley was the name of his father. He was sure of that. He swallowed hard. His whole body felt heavy, like it was suddenly constructed of lead. All of his attention was directed to that voice he could hear through his phone. You or your father. I'm not Edwin. Edwin is my father, but on for years. Hey, for some reason, he decided against telling him that. Maybe I could find out more from this man if I pretend he's still here, but just not available. He swallowed again. It was almost painful how anxious he was. He's not available at the moment. May I help you with something? Okay, how would you guys pronounce this? This first part I pronounce like Micah. So would this be like Micala? Micalia? Brother. Oh my god. They're gonna have to like teach me how to pronounce this name. Micala? It was technically his first, his first name, of course it's his first name. It was technically his full name, but no one called him that ever. And for good reason, goddamn. Not even his aunt, who was a stickler for proper language and names. In fact, he didn't have any recollection of anyone calling him by that name. How did this man know it? You know my father, then? Then, could you tell me more about the estate? Micah struggled not to curse out in frustration. Technically, you are an M. Riley. I love the loopholes. The redhead's breath caught in his chest. Thank you, sir. That sounds fine. We can meet at the Merriment Cafe, if you've heard of it. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. With that, the call was over. Micah's heart raced. He had finally met someone who knew his father, and his grandfather too. The redhead looked at the call log on his phone, convinced he was imagining the conversation he was just a part of. He had to be. It was too surreal. And yet, there it was. Right there in his call log. Oh shit, Leon. He didn't know if he had the mental fortitude to take on socializing right now. He had so much to think about. His mind raced faster than his thoughts could keep up with.
Time to feed the cat.
Finally, he had to leave. His hand drifted to the jacket pocket where he kept his most precious letter. Would he finally know who Edwin really was? His father and grandfather. For the first time ever, he was close to learning something. I should text him. Phone time. Oh wait, no. I think the phone stuff was actually here. It has been so long I don't remember it. Maybe they like updated it. Maybe that's why it feels different. I'm out of fries. I'm sad now. But yes, my dinner consisted of McDonald's fries and boba tea. Not the best dinner, but it's a dinner. I guess he's not gonna respond. It was special, of course. Nothing about it wasn't special. He just didn't want to say anything before he knew for sure what it was about. He knew he could tell Leon. He wanted to tell him, in fact. But he needed to be sure. Knowing Leon, he'd drop everything he was doing and come running to his side to learn it with him. As precious as his friend was to him, he couldn't bear speaking about it too early only for it to be nothing. The typing appeared and disappeared, appeared and disappeared. Leon seemed to have something to say, but in the end, he never said it. Sleep did not come easy that night, and when it did, it was that same dream. The hazy figure smiling at him as they played in a puddle. This was a dream that plagued him. It burned at his mind, itched like a scene lost to time, desperate to be rekindled. Why can't I remember you? I'll read a little bit more before ending. Let's see. The cold night air hung heavy in the still, dark room as the redhead awoke. No longer able to tolerate the shallow sleep of the night, he laid awake staring at the ceiling. Agonizingly slowly, the day broke and the room started to lighten, chasing away the last wisps that haze-filled dream. As the sun rose, so did Micah's anxiety, the phone call from the previous day finally sinking in. He might find something out about his family today. It had been 17 years since he came to live with his aunt. 17 long years of not knowing. 17 years since waking up in that hospital bed with no memory of how he got there, what he'd been doing, or who he'd been with. Every time he tried to ask about his parents, his aunt would shut down the conversation, or change the subject in some way. Whatever happened amongst their family, it was clearly something horrific to make her hate them so much. Not that he could ever figure out what. There was always a pain behind her voice, a combination of anger and deep sadness. Part of Micah didn't want to push her. After all, they were her family too. Another part deeply resented being kept so entirely in the dark. What was so bad he couldn't know? But today, she couldn't stop him asking. Pacing around the apartment was all he was capable of at that moment. It was all he could manage. Okay, I'm sorry. I did not mean to sip in your ears. a.m. Enough was enough. There was only so much pacing one man could do. His mind still filled with thoughts of that lawyer. Micah decided that he should just head to Merriment early. Anything was better than pacing back and forth any longer. Make up some excuse about wanting to watch Thomas in the kitchen, or practice a new latte art. Something. Anything would do. Do I want to stop here? I think I want to kind of like stop after like we meet the lawyer. I'll just like quickly like try to go prevent. As he walked through the doors of the cafe, Micah desperately tried to calm his quickening heartbeat. We spent some time messing about here for a while. It would surely start going quickly, right? Micah recalled something about Thomas trying out a new menu item today, too. Worthy distraction. Eventually, thoughts of the meeting began to melt away as he watched Thomas cooking in the kitchen. For long, he found himself sketching the meal at different stages of preparation. What he first thought would be a useless skill, his food drawings had become not only useful but a feature of the cafe, featuring prominently on Mary's menus. Sometimes he would do things for the customers, a unique flair to the cafe. He checked his phone nervously. 1:25. Oh. That went so slowly at first. Spending time in the cafe drawing and chatting to Thomas actually made time go much quicker than he expected. He took a deep breath. He felt much calmer, thankful for the distraction this had become. Oh yeah, there's Thomas. I was like, we should meet Thomas. Sweet man. In the dining room? I don't think anything you could make would be inedible. I'm not one to turn down the famous Thomas's cooking. With a smile, Micah took a seat at one of the empty tables, and Thomas brought out his newest experiments. They looked and smelled delicious. Stars in his eyes and the redhead's mouth watered just seeing the dishes presented to him. For him, Thomas placed the dishes. One was really a dish as such, the most indulgent-looking milkshake Micah had ever seen. Holy diabetes. And the redhead inspected the decadent beverage. By its color, it appeared to be coffee or maybe chocolate, topped with whipped cream, chocolate powder, tiny cookies, wafers, and the most impossible-looking cat chocolate. Last but not least, finished off with a long straw and spoon, which, to Micah's amusement, also featured a cat adornment. The more he looked at the drink, the more impressed he became with his gravity-defying enormity. The second looked like a pie, the outer pastry woven into lattice, once more adorned with cats, filled with berries and syrup. It smelled divine. The redhead grinned, seeing the effort taken to personalize the dishes with the cat decorations, which is one of the many things that made Merriment an incredible place. It's like they know I like cats or something. Hidden beneath layers of pastry was a secret that made his more than just some pie. Micah had stood transfixed as Thomas was creating his masterpiece. Oh, this dessert had a layer of cheesecake inside the pie crust and under the berries. Really? That's interesting. Couldn't wait to try it. Before he can dig in, however, Thomas brought out a third dish. There's more? Where did this one come from? A mischievous look spread across the chef's face. Gently placed the dish in front of Micah. A smile plastered to his face. Why does that look like hay? Did he make pizza out of hay? Is it even possible I can eat all this? Micah examined the new meal with interest, trying to work out what secrets this one held. Pizza? A fork? Interest well and truly piqued. Interest well and truly piqued. Micah happily brought it to his lips and tasted it, and of course he wasn't surprised. It was perfect, just as Thomas's cooking always was. The dish was particularly unusual, though. On first glance, the dish looked every bit of pizza, with some pepperoni and intoxicating melted cheese. It had a cheeky secret, however. The typical dough base one might expect from a pizza was conspicuously absent. In its place, crispy and surprisingly delicate noodles. What the fuck? A flavor and texture sensation that burst on the tongue. Incredible. Couldn't help but be a little envious. How amazing it would be to be in Thomas's position, coming up with all kinds of new recipes. Still, he was thankful for the meal, if not a little curious as to what he did to deserve it. As if seeing the question mark pop up above Micah's head as he stared at the spread in front of him, Thomas laughed. Oh, for his birthday. Oh, that's so sweet. Did he? He hadn't really thought about it. After a moment, he realized Thomas was right. That was how he got the job in the first place. See what happened. I have a meeting here soon. I think I'm about to find out who my father was. Micah scoffed in response, a smile playing on his lips. He had nothing to worry about. Thomas was one of the best chefs Micah had ever met. He trained in some upscale restaurants overseas until he married Mary. That's funny. And they settled into their little cafe diner. They both loved to hear, and Micah always thought what a lovely couple they made. They treated him like family. He would always be grateful for their support and kindness, even if he felt like he could never pay it back in full. Thomas still cooked incredibly fancy things sometimes. He enjoyed comfort foods above all else. Of course it's delicious. You don't even need to ask. food did make him feel better too. Something about a stomach full of his cooking set his mind at ease. It was amazing how a good meal could serve as a distraction. He looked down at his phone. 2 p.m. Finally. Once again, his nerves rose despite his best effort to keep himself calm. Fine hairs on the back of the redhead's neck danced as the jingle of the bells moved. As the jingle of the bells above the door sounded through the cafe. A knot of anticipation formed in Micah's core as he turned to inspect the new arrival. He looked the part of a lawyer, that was for sure. A tall, tan-skinned man with a neat salt and pepper hair, his tailored charcoal suit perfectly pressed. The man walked with purpose, taking in his surroundings with reserved curiosity. His eyes traveled around the cafe. Micah gazed at him expectantly, standing to greet him. Although the man looked as if he matched the voice, he wondered if his assumption was correct. He almost seems as unsure as I am. Mr. Harris? Alright, so we will stop here for tonight. Because, again, I do work tomorrow, so I don't want to stay up too late. And I do want to take a little bit of time for myself. It's a shame, though, that the days I work, the streams can only be about like an hour and a half long. But that's what happens when you work. So I will see you guys tomorrow for... What am I streaming tomorrow? Is it Mirage Noir? It's not the right app. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow for Mirage Noir. Right, so let me just update you guys real quick. So Thursday, it does say TBD, which means to be determined. Which yes, because I am supposed to go out Thursday, but it's not like I'm gonna be out all day. So, depending on what time I get home, I may or may not decide to stream. So I will keep you guys posted about Thursday. And then Friday, unfortunately Tones isn't going to be available anymore for Stardew, so I will probably just pick a different visual novel to do. I will try to figure that out. What visual novel I want to do. Because I mean, I could continue doing the in-between. But yeah, like I said, I'll figure it out. Anyways, thank you guys for coming to stream. I know, even though it's like, what's the word? I know it's like later than when I usually stream, but I still appreciate you guys coming regardless. So again, I will see you guys tomorrow for Mirage Noir, and again, make sure you guys go play these demos that I've literally been showing you on stream. Keyframes, Mirage Noir, the in-between, because, oh, and also Shattered Souls, because these devs are putting their darndest into making these wonderful games, and I truly do believe that they are great. Will be even greater when they're full games. And honestly, they can only do that with your support, so even if you can't, like, give a whole lot, give what you can to them, so that way they can bring these wonderful games to life. And with that, I will say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Man, I love being a visual novel streamer. I just love yapping about how much I love these.